How you doing, YouTube? Matt with Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. And, yeah, it's a little bit of IPA action. Yet again, seems like it's IPA season. That is what it seems like all the time, I guess. Anyway, another IPA. This is from Funk Brewing. This is their Citrus IPA. First offering I ever had from Funk. Not super local brewery to me. Probably about 40 minutes, not even away from me. If I jump on the old Pennsylvania Turnpike, Emmaus, Pennsylvania, which if none of you know is where you find Shangy's. Shangy's is like the biggest beer distributor in like the country, I think. Anyway, if you've ever been in the area, these guys are relatively close to there, a few miles away. But I haven't had anything from them, just because I don't think they've been around all that long. I know they haven't been around all that long, and I haven't been down that way in quite a while. But I was lucky enough to have a friend kind of shooting through the area, picked it up, dropped it off, so I get to give it a whirl. So let's see what she has to offer. As far as what it says on the can, Funk Brewing Citrus India Pale Ale brewed with grapefruit juice, 7% alcohol by volume. Do not age, drink fresh, no canning date. Which I'm a big proponent of dates. I love me some dates, and on cans and stuff. I'm not gonna sit here and just bitch and moan about it all that long. But two things need definite dates in my eyes. Your fresh IPAs, especially if they say do not age, drink fresh. How the fuck do I know if it's fresh if it's not dated? And two, old beers. I want to instead of having to have a wax pencil and fucking mark everything, I like to have dates on it. Anyway. Enough of that shit. Let's see. Government warning stuff. Brewed and bottled by Funk Brewing, Emmaus, PA. The utilization of citrusy American hops gives citrus huge flavors and aromas of grapefruit, blood orange, and pine. This will forever and always be our go-to IPA, and we hope it becomes yours as well. Enjoy it and more of our creation straight from the source at our tap room. That's pretty much it. Can-wise, it's cool. It doesn't blow me away. But I don't hate it. It's just, I get it. And the one thing I thought of immediately thinking of Funk Brewing when I was about to review this, how the fuck isn't there another Funk Brewing? Like, it seems like that's just a natural brewery name for these guys to be relatively new, and then grab that name. I don't know. It just seems like that name would have been gobbled up already. Anyway, or it is. And they didn't do their homework. Who knows? Either way, I'm going to drink the beer and say what I think about it. And that huge grapefruit right off the bat. You're getting like that citrus, acidic grapefruitness kind of popping off. Finger, infinitely compact bubbles. Nice super creamy top to it. Nice subtle haze with bits of particulate floating around in there. It's not the haziest beer in the history of mankind, but it's not going to be confused with not being hazy. Yellow, which, more honey with a hint of golden yellowish color to it. Yeah, looks like a nice IPA. Color-wise, I would say the head's just a hair off white. Hair north of that, so let's get a nose on her. It's fucking grapefruit all around, man. All grapefruit, that citrus, but it's that grapefruit, blood orange, airing kind of citrus. You do get a little bit of a slightly resiny pineness on there, but it's all about that grapefruit. The more like there's a sweet grapefruit in there, but you feel like you're getting a little bit of bitterness from it too. So both ends of the spectrum are kind of being represented. It smells like there's a really nice rich sweet malt base to it too. Yeah, like I've said this before. My old school I call it the 80s breakfast, where you take the grapefruit, slice it in half, and you put a little bit of sugar on it. You cut it in sections out and eat it. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting off this one, which kind of just takes me back to when I was a kid in the 80s. So I dig it. So yeah, I mean, she smells like a really good IPA. So she looks good. She smells good. Cheers. A bit more drying, a bit more bittering, pithy in the mouth. Subtle pine. I thought it was going to be a little bit sweeter. The base tastes like almost like just a base malt with a bit of honey malt going on. I could be totally wrong. This is what I'm guessing at. That's tastes like the base is. It's decent. It's propping up those hops, but it's not overly sweet by any means. Or most people shouldn't find it overly sweet. that grapefruit citrus, that sweetness isn't really there. Like I said, it errs more on the side of bitter. And it's a bit drying. It just stops short of being like West Coast style palate smacking. And it's good. I dig it. The flavor grows as you drink it. Or as you swallow it. Like it's got a decent kind of flavor profile. While it's in your mouth, once you swallow it and you let it sit and let it ride, it kind of builds and builds and builds, which is really fun. On first sip, I was like, okay. First thought that popped in my mind is it's only 7%, or it is 7%. It's drinking more like what I want to be at 5 to 6%. But with that kind of back end flavor going on, I get where the 7% is coming in there. And yeah, it's super well done, really nice and clean. In a perfect world for me, it would have a bit more sweetness to kind of bring out a little bit more of that juiciness and make it more like a fruit juice as opposed to just a drying hop on the back end. That's total personal preference. But yeah, I think this is a really well done beer. One of the better straight up IPAs. 7%, you're kind of getting close to double, but straight up IPAs, one of, if not the best, to come in this area. This and maybe a couple of the single ones that Breaker has brought in this area, but I'm not sure which other ones come to mind. But yeah, nice mouthfeel to it, and just really solid. Like I said, for me personally, just that sweetness, and it would be a little bit different, kind of just sweeten it up a little bit, bring out a little bit, remind you more of a fruit juice as opposed to a drying kind of bittering kind of thing going on there. So let's talk about it. Is it one of the better IPAs I've had as of late? On the outside looking in, just because I've had so many good ones, but in this area is one of the better IPAs I've ever had from this area. And I'm counting, northeastern PA from Lehigh Valley to here to even out like towards like your Lancaster kind of areas. Yeah, it absolutely is. Would I buy it again? Yes. No idea what it costs. It was given to me, so I'll have to skip over that. Price and availability, that whole thing, just skip over that. And just get to the point where if you like, what would you like this beer? It's kind of like it's reminiscent of New England style IPAs, but just kind of kick it back a notch as far as sweetness. Like that grapefruit is there. That's the predominant flavor that's going on. You get touches of nuances of other stuff, a little bit of stone, even a little bit of star fruit. But it's all about that grapefruit and that citrus, which I dig. But for me, that little bit of sweetness kind of brings it back from that New England territory. It's not as oniony or danky as a lot of your, I would say, mid-Atlantic beers, from your Trillium down to your Neshaminy Creeks and everywhere in between. They tend to be a bit more danky, a little bit more funky, a little bit more oniony. This has a touch of that, but not nearly that. It's more of a hazy, old school East Coast IPA, I guess you would say, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. So if you like old school American IPAs, and you want something a bit hazier, a bit bigger, or if you like New England but you want something that's a little bit not as chewy, not as sweet, not as abrupt, then this definitely be for you. And especially if you find yourself in and around the brewery, it's definitely worth checking out. Like I said, I've never been there, but if this is what they have to offer, you should stop by. And if it's anything, like if you are traveling on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, it shouldn't be that far off the Turnpike. So if you're traveling from, up north, from upstate New York and New England area through Pennsylvania and the Turnpike down to Philly and south, I would imagine that you'd be on and off the Turnpike probably in about 15, 20 minutes each way, not even. So if you're traveling that way, definitely give these funk fellas a look-see, because this is what they're making, and the other stuff definitely should be pretty damn good. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you did or you didn't, or somewhere in between, please leave a comment in the comment section below, and subscribe, and all that fun stuff. If you want to check us out anywhere else on the internet, you can. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Untapped, Massive Beers, and all 4 of those places. And yeah, another review down. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a nice IPA right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.